Morning, folks. Morning, folks. Right, here we go. Morning, Hugh. Morning, John. Morning, Lenny. Morning, Doug. Morning, Tammy. Out of Facebook. Morning, Alison. Morning, Jed. You're at Summerlee today watching. It's a nice day to be outside, a wee bit chilly. We'll get to that. Morning, Anne. Morning, Melanie. Morning, Neil. Morning, Malin. Morning, Margaret. Morning, Stephen. Morning, Stuart. Morning, Alex. Good morning, Julie. Morning, John. Morning, Indy Jani. Morning, Alistair. Morning, Lorraine. Right, that's 100 of you on board, so let's get this broadcast underway. It's Indy Truck Davey out the truck now at home in his office in Salisbury, North Lanarkshire, where it is a bright, clear morning, 7 degrees, pretty chilly actually. That's the weather forecast for Salisbury, North Lanarkshire. If you want to know the weather's like where you are, look at your rain, bloody windy. Now, Wednesday started with Davey locked out of his social media platforms. Not just one, I only put up Facebook, I was locked out of Facebook. But when I got up and put the computer on yesterday morning, I was locked out of bloody everything. And it took me a wee while to get back into bloody everything. So that's why there was no broadcast yesterday, so please accept my apologies. Okay, right, now let's get the review underway properly. Alright, Wednesday started with a mixed bag in the rags. NHS staff vote overwhelmingly to strike, and ambulance staff follow suit. Riot cops attacked by feral gangs in Dundee. NHS facing greatest challenge, says Dr. John Paul Rowley, whoever the hell he is. NHS England seeks extra $7 billion to clear backlog. Speculation over how much the Bank of England's Monetary Policy Committee will hike interest rates today. And so let's go down the list. NHS and ambulance staff strike for higher pay and better conditions. And I have to say they deserve it. And I've said they will get it. I have said they will. But there's always a but in there, isn't there? They'll get their pay rises. But when they're taking their pay rises, they better look at each other in the face and wonder whose job's gone. They deserve it. They don't deserve people to lose their job because they need to get 10% of a pay rise to cover inflationary pressures because of the incompetence of the government in Westminster. But while they're getting that 10%, then services will be cut. We'll get a wee bit more of that as we go into the report. Okay. As to cops attacked by feral gangs in Dundee, go to say, I've got a bad feeling about this one, folks. It didn't look like feral gangs to me. I watched the social media coverage. It looked organised. And that's a concern. That's a real concern. This carry on started last year after the and it seemed to be organised last year and all. Now, what's interesting about where it's happening is Dundee is a yes city. It has a yes administration. Having disruption in Dundee with this sort of behaviour plays right up the Labour Party and the Tory Party in the administration's street. They get to scream that the yes administration has lost control of the city. There is something about it just doesn't sit well with me. Okay. Also, NHS England seeks $7 billion to clear backlog. Well, they're not getting it. NHS England is slowly being handed to the private sector. And the failure of those areas in NHS England which are still in public hands is exactly what the Conservative Party want, so that they have justification to privatise the rest. All right. As to speculation over the Bank of England's interest rate hikes, Davey says we'll put them up by 0.75% to 3%, giving another $800 billion of free money to the banks. Another huge transfer of wealth out of a crippled economy. Right, economic literacy is right down that road. they have absolutely no idea what they're doing. Right? Consumers will have less disposable income, and the UK has a consumer-based economy. And a consumer-based economy, I don't know how many times I've got to say this, if the consumer has no disposable income, the economy shrinks. For example, the economy in the retail sector last month shrunk by 1.8% on the previous year. Consumers are tightening their belts. If the consumer has no money to spend into the economy contracts, so the contraction in the economy is accelerating. That goes with the report I gave you on Tuesday about Monday, with the British Innkeeping Association, the Pubs Association, the Ulster Pubs Association, and the Night Times and Entertainment Industries, all saying the same thing. A third of their members will be gone by this time next year, by next summer. That's because there's nobody got any money to go down the pub. That's an example of when the consumer has less disposable income, then they don't go down the pub. That's just one example. That will go right across the economy. So the move by the Bank of England today to raise interest rates by 0.75% will give her 880 billion quid of free money to the banks, while shrinking the economy by almost £1 billion again, or more. Right, okay, let's move on. Wednesday started on another Tory party U-turn down that road in the House of Thieves and Carpetbaggers. New PM, Rishi Sunak, he gives into pressure from MPs of all parties and will now attend COP26. There's a Davies here, I don't know why he is bothering. The Tories have no green credentials, but hey, you'll get to hear the world praise Scotland as Scotland leads in the renewables sector. Although Mr Sunak will be there and he'll try to claim it is British success. It's Scotland's success. England have got no plans whatsoever to put up onshore wind farms. Their idea is to build nuclear. Nuclear is not green. It takes about 7 years, well, Hinkley Point's staying longer than that, but it takes about 7 years to build a reactor. That reactor's only good for about 40 years, and then the land's out of commission for anything else for 300 years, and you're also stuck with the waste for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. The other thing is, of course, is there's a limited supply of plutonium. So how long they could run nuclear reactors before they run out of the bloody stuff, we don't know. Okay. Right. Moving on, Wednesday here in Scotland, stand-in Finance Minister and Deputy First Minister John Swinney announces to Parliament 1.2 billion worth of spending cuts. John tells MSPs that due to Scotland's budget not being adjusted to cover inflationary pressures, which were created in the House of Thieves and Carpetbaggers because of their economic illiteracy, this has seen rising costs in procurement of goods and equipment, rising costs in energy, and of course, when inflation runs so high, John tells them there's also pressure coming for the public sector for inflation-busting pay deals. But he also makes it clear that this economic illiteracy lies at the door of Westminster. Brexit's a factor, a huge factor actually. Anyway, he also tells us that tax rate rises are also on the cards to plug the hole in the public finances created by Westminster's incompetence. The cuckoos in the nest, of course, they go after chumps, and they're no chuffed. John Swinney just shrugs his shoulders at the irony of their ire. Right. Well, all he could basically say is, hey, you wanted the guy next door to run our finances, you bloody hypocrites. Because when you get right down to it, the cuckoos in the nest can after jump along there about a £1.2 billion cut in the Scottish spending plans. Hey, that is sheer hypocrisy. After all, they want the guy next door making a cut to our economic situation. Sorry, I take that one back, I can't get edited. Making a mess of our finances. So the cuckoos in the nest are shouting foul at the Scottish Government when it's their imperial masters who are cutting the Scottish Government's budget. Yeah. Unionists don't do irony, but you all see them complaining it's cuts to the Scottish budget when the cuts are coming from their union. Wow. Anyway, as John says, you don't do irony, you sparrows. Imagine that, the cuckoos in the nest can after nut at cuts that he's having to make because their imperial masters couldn't run him a nudge. Right, moving on. Wednesday, down that road in the House of Thieves and Carpetbaggers, Scottish questions are on. That's the 30 minutes each week when English MPs get to tell us how shite we are. In Parliament, in Scottish questions, it's mainly English MPs ask questions. Right, anywho, on to the questions. One of the questions asked was about the Scottish Government's plans for currency, specifically after independence and continued use of the pound until they're ready to introduce a Scottish currency. Governor General Alistair Jack said the proposal was utter pish, and he says he's quoting arch nationalist Robin McAlpine. There's a Davy says here, all nations who have gained independence from the UK continue to use the pound for a while, a short while or a long while, depending on their situation, before launching their own currencies. The speed of transition to the UK pound to their own currencies varied. Ireland did use the pound for 10 years before moving to the pound. Malta stayed tied to the pound for 3 years, I think it was. Then they pegged their currency to the pound until they eventually adopted the euro. So this idea that it's pish that we're going to continue to use the pound for a short period after independence, it just happens to be how it works. You've got to set up a central bank. You've got to get yourself sorted out. You've got to get the legislation through your parliament. It took 10 years in Ireland. I've got a funny feeling it'll take 3 to 5 here because of the economic conditions that we're tied to. They were also on about Scotland's plans to join the EU being rubbish because we intend to continue to use the pound for a short period of time. The negotiations could start on day one to rejoin the EU. But that'll take a number of years as well. Because for a start, you need to get your own currency up and running. And this idea that we just adopt the euro, well, why not? But the policy is to get our own currency up and running. And then if we wanted to adopt the euro once our own currency is up and running, we'd need to be part of the exchange rate mechanism for 2 years. Now, the reason why the UK pound didn't join the euro was because it couldn't keep the value low enough to be in the economic the exchange rate mechanism. So Gordie Brown had to pull us out. But anyway, the UK pound's one of what they call the reserve currencies in the basket of reserve currencies in the world. So it wasn't worth the UK's while joining the euro. Scotland's going to have a hell of a hard currency because of our richness in assets and wealth. We're going to have to underplay our currency immensely. The best way to do it is just to peg it to the pound but run it with our own currency. As to a commitment to join the euro, well, here's something that you all need to know, right, when you hear this pish. Since the Maastricht Treaty in 1985, every country that's joined has had to have a commitment to join the European Central Currency. I don't even think, it wasn't even in play then, but the commitment has to be made. But you can commit to, it doesn't mean you're going to. As the First Minister points out, there's 11 of the 27 members don't use the bloody currency. Mental. Anyway, let's put it this way. Now, not everybody agrees with the policy of the SNP government to hold on to the pound for a wee bit until we transition into our own currency. There are those who advocate launching the Scottish currency on day one. Fair enough. You don't have to agree. But you're no, take Robin McAlpine, for example, who's no keen in the idea of a transition period until we get our own currency. Right? He's not trying to sell independence to the nation. He's just sitting in his wee think tank making noises in the corner so that Union Jack can say, Arts Independenista says this is pish. We all have different ideas on how this should be done. But we are not the ones who are trying to sell it to the public. We are not the ones that are trying to get, well, we are actually, but, you know, our personal ideas are not what will sell it to the public. The SNP and the Greens are going to produce a strategy and a prospectus that the public will vote for. Simple as that. So steady as she goes. And a transition period that's smooth. People want that not just for the economy, they want it for their own personal finances as well. So whether you agree with the First Minister, no, and I have to put my cards on the table, I don't. I advocate for a new currency within the first 18 months. But I'm not the one that's going to sell it to the Scottish people. And the people, they want a smooth economic transition and they want a smooth personal financial transition. So using the pound for a wee while until the time is right to launch our own currency is what has to be done. You don't want to spook the population into voting no again. Okay, right. Moving on, Wednesday lunchtime rolls around, the PMQs is on, and the House of Thieves and Carpetbaggers. First up was Sir Conrad Starmer of the Red Tories. He went on Cruella Braverman's statement that the asylum system is broken. Starmer asked Sunak who broke it. Sunak replied, "We ended free movement of people via Brexit." So Sunak, the idiot, thought that ending free movement of people creating absolute chaos in the labour markets was a good idea. Mental. Right, anyway, Starmer pointed out that the Tory party had been in power for 12 years. Surely, if the asylum system is broken, surely it's their fault. Sunak says, Sunak tells Starmer, you voted against our plans. You voted against the Nationalities Bill. You voted against the Rwanda plan. You voted against ending a free movement of people. It would appear that Sunak doesn't do irony, is it? The term is opposition party. Opposition party opposes. Jesus. That was piss poor stuff. It was like watching Bojo the Clown. In fact, I was watching Bojo the Clown. So Sunak doesn't get the idea that opposition parties oppose what it is the government's doing. Spanner. Anyway, Starmer tells him, Sunak, that they voted against these things because they don't work. He points to the Rwanda plan, 140 million sparked up the wall since April 2022, and there have been 0 deportations. Meanwhile, 300,000 asylum seekers crossed the channel. Starmer asked, where is your plan? Sunak says, we've got one. You haven't got one. Nah, 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 nah. Wow, it was all watching kids in the playground. Yeah. It was mental. You know, it was like watching kids, you know, my dad's bigger than your dad, nah, 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 nah. It was bloody pathetic. Anyway, Starmer asked about how many asylum seekers were processed last year. Sunak said no enough. Starmer tells him only 4% of claims were processed last year. Sunak tells Starmer we are increasing capacity. Starmer goes on legal advice on Manston's overcrowding. Was the Home Secretary told to move people out? Sunak says, hey, you are the public prosecutor. You know we can't discuss legal advice. Starmer said, you were told. Just you don't want it. You don't have the guts to admit it. Anyway, Starmer then goes after Sunak on the inappropriate move to put Braverman back in the Home Office, saying she is only there after a grubby backroom deal to install Sunak as PM and avoid a general election. Starmer tells Sunak, get a proper Home Secretary, scrap the Rwanda gimmick, crack down on small boats crossing via an international agreement with France, and start processing asylum seekers. Okay. Sunak replied, you would have supported Corbyn in 2019. Where are you going Corbyn in 2019 for? They're talking about borders being porous and who. And what's Sunak replied? You would have supported Corbyn. Truth about that, of course, is that Starmer wouldn't have supported Corbyn. As we know from the Labour files on Al Jazeera, and as we know, the British state, including Starmer, who's part of that British state, went all out to prevent Corbyn from getting in. They tried to portray Corbyn as some sort of a terrorist sympathiser. IRA, Palestine, things like that. Corbyn's a peace-loving man. And he was never involved in any of these things. And when he was talking to the IRA, it was at the behest of the UK government at the time, you know that? Twisted, evil. But Starmer wouldn't have voted for Corbyn. Starmer was part of the right wing of the Labour Party's plot to bring Corbyn down. Starmer was part of that group that deliberately ensured that Labour didn't make it into power in 2019. And Julie says Starmer is Israel's man in Westminster. Okay. Right, anyway, so that was Starmer versus Sunak. Next up was Blackford. He went on pensions and benefits, and he asked Sunak, are you going to stick by the promise you made 5 months ago when you were Chancellor to raise pensions and benefits by the RPI, the Retail Price Index, which is sitting about 10.4%? Sunak dodged the question. Blackford, on the second question, asked him the same again. He said, it's a very simple question, a yes or no answer, Prime Minister. Will you keep the triple lock promise, and will you raise benefits by the RPI like you promised? Sunak totally dodged it, says, new Chancellor will reveal his plans on the 17th of this month. End of. He then went on to talk about oil or something stupid like that. Anyway, so that was Prime Minister's for you. A bun fight in the playground. Pathetic to watch. Neil Henry of the Alpha Party got up and asked if Scotland was a colony to be exploited for its resources. And Sunak says, aye. He didn't directly say yes. How he said yes was, Scotland's got two governments and we'll husband the oil on Scotland's behalf. That's what the Scottish people want. So there you go. We were basically told by Sunak yesterday we're a colony. Was the question helpful? No, it was just as childish as the rest of the pushing the politics in Westminster yesterday. If Henry thought he was making a big score, the only thing he scored was his verse along the desk. Because it made no impact. None. None. We already know that we're a colony to be exploited. Getting them to say that is something else. But know that Neil's bright enough to realise what he managed to coax out of fucking Sunak. Anyway, next up. So that was Prime Minister's for you. Right, moving on. Wednesday, and Matt Hancock to face ministerial probe into him not asking permission or telling the government he intended to go on to I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here. But truth be told, Hancock doesn't give a shite. His pal, Olympic Opik, ex-Lib Dem MP, is on the Pravda telling us that Hancock's no intention of going any further in politics and that he doesn't intend to stand at the next election. He intends to launch a career on commentating on politics and the media. So it appears that Hancock's fishing to start a career in the media, and that's why he signed up to I'm a Celebrity, get me out here. It's to get his face known in the media a bit more. Moving on, Wednesday, back here in Scotland, Glasgow City Council faces £119 million budget shortfall. The council says the shortfall is down to increased costs due to high inflationary pressures and energy costs. I dare say this will be replicated right across the local authorities in Scotland. Moving on Wednesday, and the commission set up by the Scottish Government to look at if Scotland needed a Northern Ireland style parades body. Well, the answer for the commission was no. The report was commissioned after disturbances in Glasgow last year at several arms marches. Now, the commission report concluded that it'd be best to leave these things in the hands of local authorities rather than at a national level, because obviously the local authorities know their people's better than what the Scottish Government do. Know that the Scottish Government's that isolated right enough because it's not that big, but Scotland's not that big. But it's decided by this commission it's best to leave it in the hands of the local authorities. Now, the commission made several recommendations on how councils could improve decision making on whether parades, processes, and marches are approved. All right. Also, Wednesday here in Scotland, the Pravda ran a story saying people in Oban are frustrated at delays to deliver a new hospital in Oban. The new hospital is to replace the town's Belford Hospital. Anyway, land was purchased in 2015 to have this hospital built, and it was supposed to be open by 2023, but no shovels in the ground yet. Scottish Government say funding's not available to 2026. Davy says, might not get a new hospital open. The way they carry on down that road, the House of Thieves and Carpetbaggers, and the cuts come to the Scottish budget, then you might not get a new hospital at all, Oban. In fact, there might not be any NHS shortly, Oban. So are you yes yet, Oban? Right, also Wednesday, here in Scotland, Glasgow Apple Store is the first in the UK to unionise. GMB union organiser John Slavin says it's an exciting new chapter in the trade union story. The move comes after an Apple Store in Maryland in America also unionised. So that's it. Apple is starting to accept that the workforce are going to unionise. But there's a Davy says here. Apple workers, you made a mistake going with the GMB. You should have went to Used or something like that. One of the specific retail unions, because the GMB are a Labour puppet and work on behalf of the union here in Scotland, and I mean the union between Scotland and England here in Scotland. Right, also Wednesday, back down that road, new PM Mr Sunak to review pledges he made during campaign to become Prime Minister. It's been reported that Sunak now believes some of his pledges are no longer deliverable. It would appear that Sunak is Prime Minister in name only. It would appear that Jeremy Hunt is pulling all the strings. So what Sunak was saying was he'll need to review the things that he was promising during his campaign to become leader, because some of them might not be fundable. In other words, he got into the chair, and the first thing that happened was Hunt put him in his place and said, I'll be delivering this budget. End of story. Doesn't matter what you think or what you promised. Right, also Wednesday evening, and it's being reported that asylum seekers are being dumped homeless on the streets of London to freeze this winter. Under One Sky Homeless Charity said it was alerted to 11 asylum seekers dumped at Victoria railway station without winter clothing or accommodation. Now, this was reported in Wednesday's Guardian. The Home Office have since rubbished it, but the Home Office did dump these people and then went back round and hoovered them all up and sent them round different parts of the UK to hotel accommodation, which is apparently costing the UK taxpayer £5.6 million a day. There seems to be an uproar about that in England. These people have basic needs. 5.6 million don't even deem them their basic needs. You'd be lucky if it actually meets their human rights. Wow. Who's the PM, Robert? Hunt or Sunak? Well, Sunak's the PM, but it looks like Hunt's pulling the strings. Right. Also Wednesday, there was another mini run in the pound. I don't know if it's got anything to do with what Sunak was saying during Prime Minister's questions or no. But, at the start of the week, the pound had recovered to £1 to 1.15 the dollar. It's back down to 1.12 in the dollar, back to a 47-year. Okay, so things are pretty well messed up. And they think we can't run our affairs. Jeez, oh. Right, let's get to this morning and see what the paper's going to say. I hope you found the stories I picked out to talk about for yesterday interesting. I hope you found the delivery informative. Let's see what the rags have got for us this morning. Hugh, the digital currency thing is a different subject altogether. I'll be here all day to talk about it. Right, health cuts dangerous and mass mob terror. Here we go. The Scottish papers. The Scotsman has raid on health budget to fund NHS pay deal. Well, Davy did say that. You know, doctors fear 400 million cuts to frontline services will harm system. Close to collapse as winter nears. Of course, it's going to harm the system. But if you want a 10% pay rise, you can expect cuts in the overall budget. And you deserve a 10% pay rise. I don't want people to think I'm getting down them. I'm not. But you've got to remember the Scottish Government's got a fixed budget. NHS bears brunts of 615 million cut. Well, it's going to happen. They want big pay rises. The money's going to come from somewhere. I did say they were going to have to look at each other and decide whose jobs were gone. Because Scotland has a fixed budget. The Herald has 400 million cuts to health branded dangerous. That's the cuckoos in the nest, eh? You can't cut a budget by 400 million. I don't know. Westminster just cut our budget by 1.8 billion. The Imperial Masters cut our budget by 1.8 billion and they scream for the fucking rafters. Whoa! The Times has Sturgeon warmed over plans for feminist foreign policy. Is she? And Swinney raid on health cash will harm patients. It's no Swinney's raid on health cash. It's the UK government's raid on the Scottish budget being passed on to Scottish public services. This pish in the rags is an absolute abomination. It's absolute lies. It's not even propaganda. It's out and out lies. The Scottish Daily Mail. Swinney swings 1 billion back axe. No, he didn't. Swinney reacted to the axe being swung from Westminster. Another lie. Saying that you expect that for the right wing loony rags. You don't expect it for the Times. Saying that right now. That is a loony rag and all. The Express has Swinney slashes 1 billion plus from Scottish budget. He didn't. He reacted to 1.8 billion being slashed from the Scottish budget from Westminster. Another lie. The Daily Telegraph has bank set for biggest rate rise since Black Wednesday. Right. Albania give us visas to solve migrant crisis. That's the other headline. The Record has Kerching 51 million and counting. That's how much the Crown Office botched investigation into Rangers has cost the Scottish public so far. Happens. The Metro has That's Our Boy. I don't know what that's all about. Little asylum lad on our front page spotted by family who stopped bus to try to rescue him. Very good. The National has Channel 4 show was right against me because I back Indy. And that was the front page claims that in the National that the runner-up in Channel 4's Make Me Prime Minister reality show missed out on the title because she supports Scottish independence. Kelly Given said after the winner was crowned on Tuesday that the show was rigged against her because she said the choice to remain in the Union belongs to the Scottish people. There you go. Let's see what the Stars go for us today, shall we? The Daily Star of Scotland. That's got join Stars campaign to make ex-clown do every trial. Vote Coco. And it's a picture of Matt Hancock. With clown's nose on. Keep on kicking him in ballots until the creep crawls off home. There you go. So the Stars got a campaign going to vote to get Coco the clown, they're calling Matt Hancock, to do every Bush Tucker challenge there is until he gets kicked off the show. Very good. there you go, the stars, brilliant. So there we go, that's what we got for you today, folks. I hope you found it interesting, I hope you found it informative. But the push in the papers this morning, folks, if I sounded a wee bit ranty about that, that's because these rags are absolutely misleading the Scottish public. John Swinney was reacting to budget cuts coming down the line from Westminster. The First Minister made it clear the budget was cut by 5% this year and is to be cut by 2% for the next 4 years going forward. Sorry, 5 years going forward. So we're looking at a 15% drop in the Scottish budget over the next 5 years. John Swinney wasn't taking the axe to Scottish Public Services. Westminster was taking the axe to Scottish Public Services by axing, by cutting the Scottish Government's budget. Simple as that. Alright. Right, there is a campaign underway, so get your eyes on the prize, Lindy. How you going to get out there and win hearts and minds. Now, whatever your agenda is, if you think the pound should be scrapped on day one, don't bother getting into it. Because all you're going to do is turn the person that you're trying to get to vote yes off. There has to be a smooth transition. This is all part of the propaganda. And we ourselves are sometimes participating in it. The First Minister and the Greens have got to, the SNP and the Greens have got to sell a vision of future Scotland to the general public, the masses. Not just to one person. They've got to sell it to the masses. Yeah, I agree with you, Robert. The people in Scotland are not as daft as the MSM think we are. But as I say, I'm all for launching the Scottish currency straight away, but I can see the First Minister's point. She's got to sell independence to everybody. And we don't just need a smooth economic transition, we need a smooth personal financial transition as well. That's what the SNP and the Scottish Greens and government are trying to sell the people of Scotland. Alright. Stick to the programme, get out there and win hearts and minds. Alright. Now support the independent broadcasters. Support the independent media. Support Broadcasting Scotland, Independence Live, Indie Live Radio, Caledon Media, Through Radio, the iScot magazine, the national newspaper, and support independent vloggers and bloggers. And if you've got a crowdfunder on the go, you've got a few shekels to spare, please throw them in the pot. As you know, I don't want your money. If you like what I do, share it around. Okay, that's all we ask. If you're on YouTube, please smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon, and you'll get a notification when I go live. Those of you on Facebook, you know the script, hit the like button, share it around if you think it's worth sharing around. That's all I want. That's all I ask of you. Okay. Right. You guys have a nice day. I've got things to be getting on with. So I'll catch you later. First Ministers will be coming on shortly and all. Look after yourselves, look after each other. Hard times are coming. Change is coming. And we need to be at the forefront of driving it. 17th of November is going to be a horrendous day. Catch you all later.